Full trigger. Beautiful, beautiful. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back to Ironclad RC. Got the 42 on the freaking block. All right. Today we're going to be fixing a leak in the boat. I had a seam bust loose right here. Okay, so we got to fix that. We've also got to fix the electronics tray. Okay, had it pull up right here on this corner. All right, so we got to show that some love. Been doing some high-speed runs with the boat, flipping the boat 80 mile an hour, flipping a boat at 80 plus. Man, it'll do a number on your boat, you know. So yeah, stick around, you guys. We're gonna epoxy the seam and fix the electronics tray. Stick around. Might as freaking well. You're here. So let's get to it, you guys. Let's get to it. All right. I'm actually going to use 15-minute Bob Smith Industries 15-minute epoxy. All right. On the actual packaging, it said it was good for ABS, plastic, wood, fiberglass, and so on. So it's actually done really good on this polycarbonate. I've used it to patch up this area right here on my boat where I ran the boat over with another boat. The prop actually caught the edge right here and put a hole in my boat. I used fiberglass that Josh had sent me from Dead Ahead RC, or actually not fiberglass. I used carbon fiber. This carbon fiber mixed up, cut up fine in the epoxy, and I used it to repair that hole. I mean, it was like a little hole. I had peeled it back. So what I did, I repaired it from the inside and the outside. I pulled the foam out, which was actually a pain in my freaking ass. It's one whole piece up here. So I actually had to cut my foam into sections to pull it out the boat. So far, this is actually holding up really, really good. And it surprised me because, I've always heard polycarbonate and epoxy don't really stick, it don't stick, but it surprised me. I repair on polycarbonate. It's all about the prep. You got to prep it and clean it, prep it good. You got to rough the area up with like a heavy duty 80 grit. You got to really rough it up and prep the surface. So like I said, we're going to use the Bob Smith on this seam right here. It's not a big spot, and I'm just going to use some sandpaper in that area, rough it up real good, clean it up real good, epoxying any surface, whether it's polycarbonate, ABS, fiberglass, anything. It's all about the preparation. 99.9999999% prep, 0.1% actual epoxy. Okay, so we're going to get started on that first, and then we'll actually do the electronics tray. Okay, with this sponson right here, I actually hit a goose doing 50 mile an hour about 2 weeks after I bought this boat. I actually killed the goose, but I hit the goose at like 50, man, and I can't believe that seam is held up. That's why it's all, you guys can't really see it, but you could see where it's kind of dinged and dented and disformed right here. But that probably had a little bit to do with the seam letting loose there on top of some 80 mile an hour flips. That didn't help the matter as much. But I'm going to use electric tape right here to protect my boat. No reason. Only reason I'm using electrical tape is because I don't have painter's tape on hand right now. Let my kids have my painter's tape for a little project, and it's gone. It's disappeared. Those of you who have kids, you guys know exactly what I'm freaking talking about. So I'm going to use this freaking electrical tape. It shouldn't be bad. I mean, hell, it's just a little quick repair here, So I was going to use a piece of sandpaper, which I probably will use this, but a piece of sandpaper. This is like a little pick I use all the time, and I'm just going to kind of fold the sandpaper over it, use the pick to actually stick it down in that little crevice, okay, kind of rough it up. All right, but first I'm actually going to use this file right here and kind of feel around so I know and kind of feel what and where the seam is ending and kind of pry it open so I can look in there. I think the seam, the bottom side comes up to here, and of course the top side ends right here. Okay, so I'm using this little file just to kind of clean it up. You don't want to use nothing too big on this seam. You don't want to break the seam loose any more than what it already is. So something small, skinny would probably be the best. But you want to definitely rough it up and get as much of the old glue or adhesive off as you can. You know what I'm saying? Prep it up. Biggest mistake a lot of guys or people make with a project like this is not prepping. They would just pour the sealant in there and be done with it. But prepping it up is the most important part, you guys. It's the most important part. So I got it basically cleaned up here. I'm gonna rough it up. Gonna try to go in up and down direction, and then I'm gonna try to go side to side, kind of cross hatch that plastic so that the epoxy has something to grab to. When you scratch up polycarbonate, as you can see right here, it leaves like a scratch mark. Okay, and the more scratches you have in opposite and opposing directions, the better your repair will be, the stronger it will be. Okay, so I'm actually going to fast forward through this part so you guys aren't bored out your freaking mind. All right, I'm just going to kind of clean it up here, prep it up. Got some alcohol on this t-shirt, old t-shirt, and I got it on a file, something flat. Alright, and I'm going to use that alcohol just to clean up my area, prep it up for the epoxy. Okay, alcohol, you can mix alcohol with epoxy to thin out the epoxy. So alcohol is definitely not going to interfere with the epoxy's adhesion to the polycarbonate. Okay, so you can see how much grime I got off of it just now. Alright, so we're going to continue with this, kind of clean it up, prep it up. Prep. All right. Gonna mix up some Bob Smith. Now I was thinking about using some carbon fiber mixed in with the actual epoxy, and I'm still debating it. What I would do is I would just take my scissors and trim some little pieces, microscopic pieces. But and it actually worked really good on this. But I think I'm just gonna use the epoxy. Boom. Done. Okay. Oh man, what should I do here? And if you're using if you got a white hull, you could use fiberglass chop strand mat in the same fashion, so it matches your boat, So let's do that actually. Let's actually do that. Let's mix in some of this carbon fiber. Not much. Just a little bit. Just going to trim it up here in my little bowl I'm going to use for the epoxy. I'm scared if, carbon fiber dries hard and polycarbonate flexes. So I'm kind of scared to do this. But I don't think there's going to be that much flex in this area of the boat. You know what I mean? It's pretty rigid and stout right there. So I don't think this is going to interfere, or crack later on, I'm just thinking out loud, my thought process here as I do the repair. Maybe it'll help you guys out, maybe not. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna put that on the envelope. We can use that in a second. All right, I'm gonna mix up some Bob Smith, and I'm gonna use some a piece of birch to move the glue around in there. Actually, let's use that same pick tool that we used to sand the area. Okay, so we can use this to get the epoxy in and around that seam, spread it around real good. Bob Smith Industries, I actually got this from Zip Kits. Zip Kits has a lot of epoxies for all kinds of different applications, finishing epoxies, building epoxies. Okay, so we're going to go 50-50. I'm going to go ahead and mix up exactly how much I need. Going to work fast, so y'all bear with me here. Okay, got to work fast. So I'm just going to add a little bit. until it kind of thickens it up. Not much. That should be good right there. Yeah, so see how it thickened it up right there? Okay, don't need much. Okay, don't want it too thick. All right. So I'm gonna open up my repair area and try to get this epoxy in and around, everywhere. Okay, and then we're gonna have to somehow push it together. I got a couple clamps and some foam here. Hopefully that'll work, pushing it together. I mixed up too much freaking epoxy, but better to have too much than not enough, and you have to freaking remix in the middle of your project. You know what I'm saying? So I'm using this stick to get it everywhere. I'm gonna load it down. I'm gonna use every darn bit of it, all of it. Yep. It's gonna add a little bit of weight, but I'd rather add some weight than water get in my boat, especially in my predicament when I'm running my boats in this salt water. Definitely don't want water in my boat. You know what I mean? Get you guys in here. And if we didn't add this carbon fiber, the odds are if you didn't use carbon fiber or chopped strand fiberglass mat chopped up in your epoxy, the odds are when you put your epoxy in the repair area and the boat's flipped upside down like this, it's going to run out of your repair area. So we're just trying to thicken it up so that it stays where we put it, you know, and it's not running down here out of our repair area. Putting some more alcohol in the rag here. All right, got some alcohol on it, and I'm going to clean up my area. All right, and I'm actually going to use this pick tool and make sure I got it everywhere here, you know, kind of just all over the place. All right, I've got these Irwin clamps right here. All right, and I'm thinking I could put this piece of foam on the outside of my sponson. Okay, you'll bear with me here. This part right here can be frustrating. All right, trying to get a clamp to stay on a rounded area, you know, could be a little tedious and aggravating. So I'm gonna try to get this foam right on the bottom of that seam where I fixed it at. Let's actually flip this over here. Oh, that's working pretty good. All right, so you guys, hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna back it up a little bit. So I've got a piece of rounded foam, a little cut in it, and putting some pressure on the seam. Like so. Okay. You see what I got going on here? I know it's like a hodgepodge, but with something like this, you just got to use whatever works. Whatever you got and whatever works to keep that clamp in place. And in my case, I'm using these foam building blocks. It already had a pre-cut circle in it, so I think that's actually working pretty good for this project. You know, got one side of the clamp on that foam. Got the other piece on the outside, top side of the boat. You guys see that? And it's pushing that epoxy out. All right, I would normally clean that excess up, but I think I'm gonna leave it. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of try to smooth it out with my finger here. Who cares if we got a little extra epoxy on the boat? I'm gonna give it another squeeze here. Oh, wrong freaking squeeze. All right, put a little pressure on it, make sure she's sticking. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and pull my tape, clean up any extra epoxy that's on the boat. So it's about an hour later. I got this still crimped off. I'll probably leave it crimped all night so that she dries hard, okay? So it actually worked pretty good. Alright, now we got to reattach the electronics tray in the corner right here. Everything else seems to be on pretty good. I've had this boat about, well, I got it when it came out, so it's, I guess, about a year now. So we're gonna prep this area up just like we did the front of the boat there. Okay, I've actually made me a different sanding, whatever you want to call it. I've been it. It's basically the same thing as this. Put sandpaper over it, been a 90-degree angle in it, so I can, hopefully I'll be able to get up under there, you know. Let me get you guys in here so you can see what I'm freaking doing. So we're just going to prep it up like we did the front, but I think this right here might need a little bit more attention because we have, well, grease, but grease is in this catch here. But still, you know, we might have a little bit of grease that got out, you know, here and there. So we actually need to clean this area pretty good. But while we're cleaning it, we don't want to pull the rest of the freaking electronics tray up. Or while we're prepping it up, sand it and stuff. So I'm not using a new piece of sandpaper. This is actually used, and all the little granules have been pretty much knocked off, I would think, by now. You know, if it was new, it would have like little pieces of sand come off of it. So we'll think about that. Maybe use an old piece of sandpaper for something like this. Oh, there we go. We got it. All right, you guys see what I got there? All right, I'm just going to kind of rough it up. I guess you can only rough it up so freaking much. That's my kids in there screaming their hyper and stuff tonight. So, roughing it up here. All right, the best I can. So let's go ahead and get some epoxy mixed up. We're going to have to work fast. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of plan out how I'm going to get it under there. I got a piece of birch here. I could probably saturate that birch and kind of move it around. Yeah, I think that'll work right there. You know what I mean? Alright, so we know how we're going to apply it. Let's get it mixed up. Like I said, I got my little 8-month-old in the kitchen there. He's going crazy. Dinner time, dinner time. Yeah, I don't think I should use that carbon fiber. Jeez. I think this will do it. Alright, so like I said, I apologize for the background noise. So I'm just going to get it on my stick here pretty good. I'm going to let it run down it here. Alright. Got some alcohol in this one. Okay. And let's put our foam in. I'm gonna go one more thick here. Hopefully I don't mess my boat up doing this. Oh yeah, there we go. So I got this foam stuck under the top side of the boat. You know what I mean? Hopefully that works. It actually looks like it's level with the rest of the electronics tray there. Alright, I think that'll work. I think it'll work. I just used a stick across the top side here. It looks like it's, you know, bowing the boat up, but I think it's going to be alright, to be honest with you. I've got it up under these little braces that are right here on both sides. So it's like supporting it, and it's not really putting too much pressure on the actual top side of the boat. So I'm going to let it sit overnight. You know, I kind of cleaned it up the best I could, you know, before I put the foam on there so it don't look so messy. I've actually got to clean up my boat. I got a little bit of epoxy right there, and this guy right here is still holding tight. So I'll show you what it looks like tomorrow evening once it's all cured out, and I get back on the, you know, video after work or whatnot. So it's the next day, okay? We're gonna pull that foam. We're gonna pull this foam. Yeah, let's check it out here. All right, let's check her out here. See what she looks like. All right. Actually looks pretty good. I got most of that epoxy up. I guess when I put the foam on there, it pushed some more epoxy out from up under the electronics tray. But let's see if it pulls up here. Oh, feels pretty good. Now I did notice this, that I wish I would have actually, see that little tab right there? See that tab right there? That tab is supposed to go in the battery tray. Okay, see that? See the tab right here? It's actually pushed into the battery tray, and this side is not. That sucks. I did not notice that. So you guys can learn from my mistakes. Push that tab into the electronics tray right there before you epoxy it down. You see how they got these little grooved areas right here? That should have been inside. So my batteries normally go up here, so it shouldn't be a problem. You know, if it pops loose again, I'll just put that in there. You know, no big deal. All right, so let's get it flipped over. So this is the one I'm really concerned about. Let's pop this off. Got a little piece of foam stuck on there. I'll take my hobby knife and scrape that off. So let's push on the bottom side. See if it's if it comes loose. Okay. The black carbon fiber kind of matches the boat, you know, so it's not so noticeable. Oh, it's good. It's good. No separation. That's good. That's good. Nice. That's how I repaired my boat. You know, there's probably better ways to do it. You know, there's probably better materials, better epoxies, better adhesives to repair your seam. I think you can use like RTV, silicone, or, you know, adhesive. Zap, I think, is a epoxy specifically designed for polycarbonates and ABSs. I think Wet System has a specific type of epoxy specifically designed for ABSs and polycarbonates. But I use that Bob Smith. I guess I'll kind of be the test dummy. You know, I'll let you guys know if it ever, and when, I guess when and if it ever pops loose. You know, I was thinking about it last night. I probably shouldn't have used that carbon fiber in there, but it actually kind of strengthened up that seam, so there's not any like flex. You guys see how much flex is on this side, okay? And this side's kind of stiff, so, you know, maybe it was a good idea. I don't know. I guess I'll find out. But I guess you'd use basically the same process, you know, prep wise to fix the seam or this area, whether you're using Bob Smith or any other adhesive or epoxy. But I'm gonna get this bad boy all polished up for my run, and we'll see you guys next time. Hope this helps you guys out. Big B with Ironclad RC.